can you tell us a little bit about why someone would go for a traditional long-term care versus someone who, why would they use life insurance, let's say, for long-term care instead of a typical long-term care? Where would that, like, who's the fit for that, and how does that make sense?
That's a great question. So what we sometimes find are people that maybe have a little bit less of a budget. They may go just for the long-term care plan without the hybrid, without the life insurance aspect of it, because it is a little bit less expensive, but you have to understand that if you never lose it, you're going to lose all that money. Whereas people on the hybrid plan, they're like, well, I want to see somebody get some sort of benefit out of this. If I'm going to put money into it, then I want to see somebody get some benefit of it. Also, another area that we find is maybe people over the years, they had a life insurance plan and they've been building up all this cash value within it, but they don't really have a need for that, or they don't ever see using that. They can transfer that into a hybrid life long-term care plan. Now they have the long-term care for themselves, but if they do pass away and they don't use all of it or none of it, their beneficiaries will still have the death benefit.
Okay. And then if I'm not wrong, Brian, sometimes kind of like one of my clients that you help, a typical long-term care policy was not going to cover her. She wasn't going to qualify for it. So the only way to do it was through a life policy. Can you expand a little bit on that? Because I know when she did this, she was Lisa was very happy about it and realized that there is a different way I can get a coverage, because she was very concerned. Her parents have been both in long-term care. Her sister was in long-term care. And so she was very concerned she may end up on it. So she wanted to make sure she had a coverage. So can you explain why she wouldn't qualify for long-term care, but ended up qualifying for life insurance? Because that was interesting.
Yeah, so this gets down into the actuarial part of it, or the underwriting part of it, because obviously you need to take an application and it goes to the insurance carriers, and in the process they're going to look at your health, not only your physical health but your mental health as well. So you may find that in the industry, we could talk about mortality for life insurance, and that is the probability that you're going to pass away. On the long-term care side, they talk about morbidity, and morbidity is the probability that you're going to need that your health is going to wane on you, or if it is already waning on you. So you may be rather healthy from a death standpoint, but maybe not so healthy from a health standpoint. For example, osteoporosis. From a health standpoint, from a life standpoint, that's not too big an issue. Obviously, osteoporosis for anybody, especially if it's severe, is a difficult condition. But it's not so bad from a life standpoint. But from a long-term care and being able to use your function, and as you may or may not know, osteoporosis is swelling of the joints, and you have difficulty holding things or even walking. So obviously, from a morbidity standpoint, that person will not be able to get long-term care, but they will be able to get life insurance. So we can utilize the life insurance, whether it's the cash values, if you overfund it in a life insurance plan, and then they come back to you on a tax-free basis to pay for the long-term care. Or if we're able to utilize the death benefit, as I mentioned before, use some of that for your long-term care. So somebody that may not be able to make it through underwriting from a morbidity standpoint, long-term care, may be able to get it from a mortality or a life insurance standpoint.
So thank you for joining us on this Q&A session. Thanks, Brian, also for your time. And all of you now have Brian's information. So if you need anything, you can go ahead and email or call him directly. And if you have any questions for me as well, you can go ahead and text that to me. Or as I said, you can send your questions to bit.ly/forward ASKCW. Looking forward to seeing you in the new Q&A session. Have a great day, everyone.